You know that feeling when you're trying to improve yourself, chasing some huge goal, but it feels like you're completely on your own? Well, today we're going to look at the story of a community that was literally built to solve that exact problem. So, let's dive in and see how they pulled it off.
I mean, this question really hits home, right? Ever felt isolated on your journey to grow? I think pretty much all of us can say yes to that at some point. You've got all this drive, all this ambition, but the road just feels lonely. And that feeling, that sense of being on an island, it's not just a minor roadblock. It's the core problem that actually sparked the very solution we're going to unpack right now.
Okay, so here's the central struggle we're talking about. On one hand, you've got this deep, powerful hunger inside you to transform, to get better. But on the other hand, you've got the cold, hard reality of feeling totally isolated. It's this clash, this friction, that can just stop even the most motivated person dead in their tracks.
And what's so interesting is that this wasn't just some vague, fuzzy idea. The founder noticed a very specific pattern, and it was happening across groups you might not think are connected. Driven professionals, hard-charging entrepreneurs, and people of deep faith. What did they all have in common? They were all hungry for growth, but they were all missing that one crucial piece, a consistent, faith-centered support system.
So this right here, this is the turning point. It's that classic aha moment. When you see the same problem popping up over and over again, it usually means you've stumbled onto some kind of universal truth. And that's exactly what happened here. The founder had this one single realization that would become the bedrock for everything that came next.
Just let that sink in for a minute. Growth is not meant to happen alone. This isn't just some feel-good motivational poster quote. It's actually a diagnosis of the problem. It's saying that this whole idea of personal growth as a solo mission, it's fundamentally flawed. I mean, think about it in your own life. We need those people who remind us who we are when we start to doubt ourselves. We need people who push us to be better. And just as important, we need people to celebrate the wins with us, big or small.
So a realization that powerful can't just stay an idea, right? It demands action. And that's exactly what happened. This core belief that we are fundamentally better together wasn't just something to think about. It became the actual blueprint for creating a space where this kind of shared growth could become a reality.
Okay, so you've got the big idea, the core philosophy. But how do you actually turn that into something real, something tangible? This is where we pivot. We've talked about the why, the problem of growing alone. Now let's get into the what, the Affirm Your Greatness community itself.
Now, what's really important to understand is the unique mix here. This isn't just another self-help group or online forum. It's designed to be the place where personal development and faith actually meet, and that changes everything. For example, affirmations in this community aren't just, positive thinking slogans. They're treated as declarations of your identity, rooted in something deeper. In this case, in God's promises. It's a whole different framework. So what does this actually look like day to day? What do you get? Well, it's a whole ecosystem. You've got weekly affirmation videos to keep your mindset right. Then there are Sunday sermon drops for that spiritual foundation. You also get devotionals and journaling prompts to help you reflect. But here's where it gets really powerful. There are live coaching sessions, so you're not just listening, you're interacting and solving problems in real time. And finally, community challenges to make sure all this good stuff turns into actual real-world action.
And this, right here, this is the whole mission. The goal is to create a space that's more like a workshop than a lecture hall, It's not about passively consuming content, just watching videos and forgetting them. It's about creating a cycle. You practice what you learn, you live it out, and you grow from it together.
So this brings us to the final part of the story, which is really simple, the invitation. After you've pinpointed a problem and built a solution, what's left? Well, you've got to open the door and invite people in. And look, this really brings it all back to the beginning. This community was built for a very specific person, anyone who's been there, wrestling with doubt, questioning their calling, feeling like they're doing it all alone. The invitation is for those people specifically. It's an offer not just of tools and content, but of a community that reminds you of your worth when you forget. And a big part of opening that door is making it accessible. So the price is set at just $9 a month. The whole idea seems to be no pressure, just support and growth. It's about removing that financial hurdle so that anyone who feels like they need this kind of support system can actually get it.
This final quote just sums it all up so perfectly. Listen to the words. Together, will, our. It's all about that shift in perspective, isn't it? It completely reframes the journey. It's no longer about my greatness, but our greatness. It changes self-improvement from a lonely individual chore into a shared collective mission.
And that brings us right back to where we started, with a question. It really challenges that whole myth of the lone wolf, the solitary hero figuring it all out by themselves. So the final thought I want to leave you with is the one right on the screen. What could you truly achieve if you weren't walking alone?
Want to start your week with power, peace, and purpose? Join the Affirm Your Greatness Community, where faith meets mindset, all for just $9 a month or $50 a year. This is your space to speak life, grow boldly, and walk in God's promises. Affirm your greatness, speak life, live boldly.
Now available on Amazon.com. Unlock the transformative power of positive affirmations with this essential guide by certified personal development coach and motivational speaker, Dennis of DennisMotivates.com. In Affirm Your Greatness, you'll discover the science behind affirmations and learn how to craft personalized affirmations that resonate with your unique journey. Get your copy today. Find the link in the description. Thanks.